12th. Although I can't change my vote that was recorded, I did just want to, in the minutes here, reflect that at the time I was confused, and the net is I'm not for that project, and if I could change my vote on B, I would, but I can't. So I just wanted it in the record that is where I stand on that. And if there's any questions that anybody has, I'd be more than happy to answer that offline or at any time. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We have a motion and a second to approve the minutes. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. So moving on to, whoops.
Chair, if I may, who was the second? Good. Thank you.
Moving on, next item is wireless communications facilities.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good evening, Planning Commission. I'm John Froke. I'm your planning consultant. I've met most of you and been working with you the last couple months. And it's a pleasure to continue to be working with planning and with the city manager's office on all things planning and zoning in Litchfield Park. Happy birthday to Arizona and happy St. Patrick's Day to all, or St. Patrick's. That's my birthday. Happy St. Valentine's Day. At least one of you is wearing red, or two of you are. So here we are on Valentine's Day. We have a brief presentation on a zoning text amendment regarding WCFs, or wireless communication facilities. Daniel started this project last fall and I'm helping out. So towards the end of last year, we, in working on various projects throughout Litchfield Park, we encountered a gap in our zoning code relative to section 36.02. And this is all regarding wireless facilities, in this case wireless communication facilities, also known as WCFs. We're recommending a text amendment to address the gap and to better align this section of the zoning code with neighboring municipalities. Currently, the only zoning district where the WCFs are permitted are resort or RT, neighborhood commercial zoning district NC, community commercial CS, and regional commercial or RS. We did introduce this item to the Planning Commission as an idea back on November 10th. It's right before I started as a planning consultant with the city. And so here we are with, we're going to be asking you to actually vote on the text amendment tonight. This is what this slide presents, what the code currently allows. And under 36.02, basically permitted locations of WCFs, they are allowed land use upon obtaining a use permit in compliance with this section in the following locations. Then A and B goes on to advise the reader where wireless facilities are permitted. What we are suggesting, I'll toggle back and forth, is the area that we're proposing the text amendment is really simple. It's the highlighted area. We're suggesting, we do have one industrial area of Litchfield Park, and that's over at Monument Point. And so we're suggesting that we add general industrial as one of the zoning districts where wireless facilities would be permitted. So the text, if you look back and forth between, that's the current code, we're basically adding general industrial and then the I in parentheses. All the other text would stay the same. In conclusion, and our recommendation, the text amendment would bring the zoning code in line with some of our surrounding municipalities. We've looked at what Avondale's doing, El Mirage, Glendale, where I spent a lot of time in their planning department. So we're, in conclusion, recommending the Planning and Zoning Commission that we add the wireless communication facilities to the general industrial zoning district. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Are there any questions from staff?
I have a question. When you review these, do you have setbacks on how far from the property line from the street, neighboring residential? And then do you evaluate the look of it as well, so fits in with the project?
To the chair and Commissioner Lawrence, yes, we do. They'd still have to go through a design review process. The setbacks still have to be met, and in general, the WCFs are kind of stuck into a size themselves, which is pretty small footprint on property. Yes.
Any other questions? Yes, Bob?
The two questions. Why only Avondale, El Mirage, and Glendale when we have such a big frontage to Goodyear?
Chair, Commissioner, that's a good question. We can certainly look at that.
It's not important to look at it because, I mean, what we're doing tonight, what I see by adding just the industrial means that place over there, we can add antennas, which they're always wanting to add more antennas with or without their palm fronds dresses on.
Right.
And what Goodyear does, other than they're huge and you know, maybe they have different ideas about it, but I don't know that it's really important what we do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Yes.
Are there going to be any limits to how many towers could be in like how many feet in an area over there? Not that it ends up becoming this little pocket with 10 different towers in the same area. Are there any kind of limits or anything?
To the chair, Commissioner Allen, yes.
Okay.
Most of what we allow in our code is a single location, so just a single one on a single pole. We do offer some co-location, but there are additional steps the owner of the tower has to take in order to get a co-locator on those towers. They have to come back through P&Z and come back through a process to get it approved. And finally, council is the one who has final say, because a use permit would still be required for this as well.
Okay. Any other questions? Seeing none, would someone like to make a motion?
I'll move that we approve recommendation for approval on the WCF zoning wording change that is recommended by staff.
Okay, we have a motion to approve recommendation to City Council. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, Mr. Berry, second. Any further discussion?
Excuse me, would it be important to reference section 36.2? Or is that just in
Well, then we will certainly do that.
the motion?
Yes. Do you want to amend your motion to?
Yes, I will amend my motion.
Mr. Derry, will you amend your second?
I will amend the second.
Okay. So we're voting on the amended motion. All those in favor of the amended motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. Okay. Moving on. Let's see, the next thing is commissioners' reports on current events. Do any commissioners have a report on current events?
Super Bowl was great.
That's true.
I heard today that it was the highest of attendance of any of the Super Bowls, and I think, and I was trying to find out how many airplanes came in, because I've heard from some aviation people that pretty much all the airports were full. A lot of business going in and out.
Okay. Any other commissioners that have a report? Okay, with that, we will move on. And is there a staff report on current events?
To the chair, the only current event staff has is, I'm sure as you noticed, the roundabout has been open for a few weeks here on Litchfield Road. We've already had a few instances. Someone has hit a sign. Another car took out a palm tree, which Public Works will be fixing that palm tree shortly. But with any new traffic change, there's some growing pains, and we're getting through it. That's it.
Okay. I'm gonna go back to the commission. I have a quick comment. My wife and I, for the last however many years, a bunch, have lived on a cul-de-sac that backs up very close to where the new roundabout is. Litchfield Road used to be a problem, but it wasn't that big of a deal, the noise. All during construction, people have been winding up. I don't know if it's post-COVID and they're now, but what's coming on now is they come out of that roundabout and then they're flooring it. And they all seem to want to be driving the new versions of Challengers, Camaros, and that order of business. They have the really big engine in them and mufflers that don't muffle. But it used to be we'd hear, well, you know, if we had a place in San Diego on the beach, we wouldn't call, that's noise too. If you had decibel, it would be white noise. This is going on at 3, 4 in the morning. They're wound up. I keep thinking one of these days, my new 10-foot wall that the town built is going to have a Camaro go through it into my swimming pool. So I don't know how we can do it because I get that from the standpoint of enforcement, they've got to have an area where they can sit if they're going to write tickets because they don't want to drive over curbs and that. But even if when you're talking with staff or with council, something's got to happen, and it's not just our cul-de-sac, but all the property owners on either side of Litchfield are experiencing the same thing with that noise. And it's not going to get better as more people come in. So somebody suggested even just putting a sign that tells people how fast they're going, because that slows them down. Because while they're thinking about, I think we have a camera on this. I don't know. And people tend to slow down. We're going to have to do something, and it's really becoming noticeable. Most in the past, over the years, I only noticed it, you know, maybe in the fall and the spring, my wife would be airing out the house with all the windows open, and I'd say, oh, we got some traffic noise, but it really didn't bother me. A Dodge Challenger, you know, at full RPMs, or you know, any of those, you can't avoid that. There's nowhere to go. So, anyway, that's my 2 cents for the evening. So.
I'd like to add that my son was following a car transport truck down the road, and it could not make the roundabout. And it shouldn't have been there anyway, but I think, you know, there was a little sign back that said, you know, no commercial traffic or whatever. But anyway, that was maybe just improved signage, but I agree with you. It's like a car launcher that the kids have once they get through the roundabout, so it's unfortunate, but.
Well, staff will definitely look into that.
Okay, any other comments from anybody? Can we have a motion to adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
There are no opposed. And we can all go home.
Thank you to the staff for all your work for this short meeting.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Good job.
You so long to set up and everything.
Yeah. You can go enjoy your Valentine's